Hello, mathematicians. This is 9.2, multiplying and factoring. I love this stuff. So, multiplying. This says to simplify each product. So let's walk through A. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to do 4b times all three of these things. Okay? So 4b times 5b squared, I would do 4 times 5, which is 20. And b times b squared is b to the third power. I add, if you remember from multiplying exponents, you add them together. So plus 4b squared, because I have 4b times b is 4b squared. And then I have 4 times 6 is 24b. And I add my b on after it. So that is my answer for this. So try B and C. Okay, so 4b, I'm going to do negative 7 times 3 is negative 21, h to the third power. Negative 7 times negative 8 is positive 56, h to the second power. And then negative 7 times negative 1 is positive 7, and then I have my h. For C, I know I'm a total geek and I keep drawing my arrows, but it just helps me to visually see it. 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. Minus 2 times 6 is 12. X times x is x squared. And then 2x times 5 is 10x. So, finding the greatest common factor. So, find the GCF of the terms 4x to the third plus 12x squared minus 8x. So, if you remember this, we did this last year, and you could take the number 4 and we drew these little trees. Do you remember this? 12, and then you did 2 times 6 and 2 times 3, and then you would circle your prime factorization, and then you'd have 8. And then you would circle, this is 2 times 4, and this is 2 times 2. And then for the greatest common factor, you'd find what they have in common. Well, they all have this 2 in common, and they all have another 2 in common. So my greatest common factor is going to be 2 times 2. And then you look at the variables. Well, they all at least have 1x. So 2 times 2 is 4. So this is 4x. So let's do A. Well, I know off the bat that this is just 1 times 5, and 10 is 2 times 5. So what do they have in common? They have a 5. And then if I look, if I have v to the fifth and v to the third, they have 3 v's in common that they both have. You have to write down what they both have, and they both have 3. So this is 1 and 3. And this is 3 times 6 and 2 times 3. Whoa. So they both have a 3 in common. And then they don't have any variables in common, so it would just be 3. And then this last one, my greatest common factor, if I look at all of these, this is 2 times 2, this is 2 times 1, and this is 2 times 3. So they all have a 2. And they all have at least one b. So this would be 2b. Factoring out a monomial. So now, what you're going to do is they're going to give you this big, long trinomial, like this one right here. And they want you to factor it. So they want you to take out what it all has in common and then put that on the outside. So you're going to do this factor tree. You're going to find the GCF, and then you're going to take it out. So you're going to take it out and put it out front. And then you're going to have to say, okay, what goes in the parentheses? Well, how do I get to 3x to the third if I only have 3x? Well, I can times it by x squared. And then how do I get to 12x squared? Well, I'm going to minus 4x, because 4 times 3 is 12, and x times x is x squared. And then how do I get to 15? Well, 3 times 5 is 15. So let me show you on A. So 8 is 2 times 4, and then this is 2 times 2. 12 is 2 times 6 and then 2 times 3. So if I look at this, I know I have a 4 in common because they each have 2 2's. So that's 4. And then I know they both have an x, so that's 4x. So you find the GCF and you pull that out. Then you put parentheses. And now you have to look back at your equation. Okay, look back at your original equation. And how do I get from 4x, and I want this first one to be 8x squared? Well, I know 4 times 2 is 8, and x times x is x squared. Okay, so I got that one, and now I got to do the next one. So it's going to be minus. How do I get to 12? Well, I just multiply by 3, and then 4x times 3 is 12x. So right there, I have factored this is only a monomial. So I've factored my monomial, and then that would be my answer. So try B and C. Okay, so my greatest common factor here is going to be 5D. I can just tell right off the bat because it's a 5 and a 10. So in this first box, I'm going to just put D squared because 5D times D squared is 5D to the third. And then I have to get 10D, so that's going to be times 2. So my answer is 5D times the product of D squared plus 2. Now here I can see that my greatest common factor is 6 because these are all factors of 6. And I know they all have at least one m. So I'm going to take that out. And here I'm going to do m squared because 6m times m squared is 6m cubed minus 2m because 6 times 2, if I did my rainbow again, 6 times 2 is 12 and m times m is m squared, so I got that one done. And then minus 6 times 4 is 24 and 6m times 4 is 24m. So there is my answer if I erase all this other stuff. Okay, that's it for your notes.